scientists with a more reliable source of electrical energy than the electrostatic machines previously used. 16. 17. The recognition of electromagnetism. The unity of electric and magnetic phenomena is due to Hans Christian Ørsted and André Marie Ampère in 1819–1820. Michael Faraday invented the electric motor in 1821, and Giorgio mathematically analyzed the electrical circuit in 1827. 17. Electricity and magnetism, and light, were definitively linked by James Clerk Maxwell, in particular in his On Physical Lines of Force in 1861 and 1862. 18. While the early 19th century had seen rapid progress in electrical science, the late 19th century would see the greatest progress in electrical engineering. Through such people as Alexander Graham Bell, Otto Blathy, Thomas Edison, Galileo Ferraris, Oliver Heaviside, Ennio Sjedlik, William Thomson, 1st Baron Kelvin, Charles Algernon Parsons, Werner von Siemens, Joseph Swan, Reginald Fessenden, Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse, electricity turned from a scientific curiosity into an essential tool for modern life. In 1887, Heinrich Hertz, 19–843–44, 20, discovered that electrodes illuminated with ultraviolet light create electric sparks more easily. In 1905, Albert Einstein published a paper that explained experimental data from the photoelectric effect as being the result of light energy being carried in discrete quantized packets energizing electrons. This discovery led to the quantum revolution. Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921 for his discovery of the law of the photoelectric effect. 21. The photoelectric effect is also employed in photocells such as can be found in solar panels, and this is frequently used to make electricity commercially.
Yes, I need some cola, but that happens when I start getting sleepy. I always have my hand like this, my fingers, so I click here. I don't know why I do it, but do it when I'm sitting like this, getting sleepy, then my fingers click the bottom, then the auto reading stops. I'm still copy, and this video is ready to go public. We can do now. Let's just get it public on my YouTube channel and edit. That's the voltage. Yes, need to add it to my playlists. Yes. Good. Now it's public. They're not getting so much view, but that's fine. They're just getting 100 views or something like that. It's Wednesday today. I got a bit more new comics. It's Wednesday the 15th, so I'm half through the month. Next Friday I get my YouTube money, and Thursday that's the longest day in the year. So after Thursday next week, the days start to get shorter again. So let's just continue do this, and I'm trying to lose some weight. I lost, when I'm going to 100 kilos, I lost 33 kilos I lost last summer was the 18th July next month. I was 133, so I try to go 200 kilos the 18th July next month. But then I need to lose like 6 kilos. But so I try to keep my diet and weight there. Next week Friday, so I'm not going to eat so much in next many days. So I can just sit late, do this and losing some weight, and then read this. This is why I did sleep like 3 a.m. tonight. I did not sleep. I'm not sleeping enough in the nights, and I'm not getting enough food. So this is why I can be sleepy, very sleepy in the morning. I always try just getting up before 9 a.m. I try to do that every morning, because if I not do that, I will sleep to 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. Then I cannot sleep the next night. I was in this little discount supermarket. Buy some more tomato for my diet, and I think we call this cucumbers. So on Friday I will eat some soup. I did buy new teas, and I have chocolate milk, but I will wait it not this next weekend after I weigh my body weight. I have a dessert like here. That's some rice pudding with jam. Tastes very nice, but I wait to finish weights. Yes, let's just continue. Yes, I like to close the door because this refrigerator makes this engine compressor can make a little bit noise. And when I record video, I close this door. But I cannot have a cola in my hand same time I do this. This is why I have to walk 2 times. Yes, I cannot close the doors with a cola in my hands. So let's just continue. Let's read only this page.
The first solid-state device was the Cataclysca Detector, first used in the 1900s in radio receivers. A whisker-like wire is placed lightly in contact with a solid crystal, such as a germanium crystal, to detect a radio signal by the contact junction effect. 22. In a solid-state component, the current is confined to solid elements and compounds engineered specifically to switch and amplify it. Current flow can be understood in 2 forms, as negatively charged electrons, and as positively charged electron deficiencies called holes. These charges and holes are understood in terms of quantum physics. The building material is most often a crystalline semiconductor. 23. 24. Solid-state electronics came into its own with the emergence of transistor technology. The first working transistor, a germanium-based point-contact transistor, was invented by John Bardeen and Walter Hauser Brattain at Bell Labs in 1947. 25. Followed by the bipolar junction transistor in 1948. 26. These early transistors were relatively bulky devices that were difficult to manufacture on a mass production basis. 27, 168. They were followed by the silicon-based MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, or MOS transistor, invented by Mohammed M. Attallah and Dewan Khan at Bell Labs in 1959. 28, 29, 30. It was the first truly compact transistor that could be miniaturized and mass-produced for a wide range of uses. 27, 165, 179, leading to the Silicon Revolution. 31. Solid-state devices started becoming prevalent from the 1960s, with the transition from vacuum tubes to semiconductor diodes, transistors, integrated circuit, IC, chips, MOSFETs, and light-emitting diode, LED, technology. The most common electronic device is the MOSFET. 29, 32, which has become the most widely manufactured device in history. 33. Common solid-state MOS devices include microprocessor chips. 34. And semiconductor memory. 35. 36. A special type of semiconductor memory is flash memory, which is used in USB flash drives and mobile devices, as well as solid-state drive, SSD, technology to replace mechanical rotating magnetic disk hard disk drive, HDD, technology. Concepts. Electric charge. A clear glass dome has an external electrode which connects through the glass to a pair of gold leaves. A charged rod touches the external electrode and makes the leaves repel. Charge on a gold leaf electroscope causes the leaves to visibly repel each other. The presence of charge gives rise to an electrostatic force. Charges exert a force on each other, an effect that was known, though not understood, in antiquity. 19. 457. A lightweight ball suspended from a string can be charged by touching it with a glass rod that has itself been charged by rubbing with a cloth. If a similar ball is charged by the same glass rod, it is found to repel the first. The charge acts to force the two balls apart. Two balls that are charged with a rubbed amber rod also repel each other. However, if one ball is charged by the glass rod, and the other by an amber rod, the two balls are found to attract each other. These phenomena were investigated in the late 18th century by Charles Augustin de Coulomb, who deduced that charge manifests itself in two opposing forms. This discovery led to the well-known axiom, like charged objects repel and opposite charged objects attract. 19. The force acts on the charged particles themselves, hence charge has a tendency to spread itself as evenly as possible over a conducting surface. The magnitude of the electromagnetic force, whether attractive or repulsive, is given by Coulomb's law, which relates the force to the product of their charges and has an inverse square relation to the distance between them. 37, 38, 35. The electromagnetic force is very strong, second only in strength to the strong interaction. 39. But unlike that force it operates over all distances. 40. In comparison with the much weaker gravitational force, the electromagnetic force of pushing two electrons apart is 1042 times that of the gravitational attraction pulling them together. 41. Charge originates from certain types of subatomic particles, the most familiar carriers of which are the electron and proton. Electric charge gives rise to and interacts with the electromagnetic force, one of the fundamental forces of nature. Experiment has shown charge to be a conserved quantity, that is, the net charge within an electrically isolated system will always remain constant regardless of any changes taking place within that system. 42. Within the system, charge may be transferred between bodies, either by direct contact, or by passing along a conducting material, such as a wire. 38. 25. The informal term status electricity refers to the net presence, or imbalance, of charge on a body, usually caused when Dissimilar materials are rubbed together, transferring charge from one to the other. The charge on electrons and protons is opposite in sign, hence an amount of charge may be expressed as being either negative or positive. By convention, the charge carried by electrons is deemed negative, and that by protons positive, a custom that originated with the work of Benjamin Franklin. 43. The amount of charge is usually given the symbol Q and expressed in coulombs. Winking sad smiley. 44. Each electron carries the same charge of approximately 1.6022 1019 coulomb. The proton has a charge that is equal and opposite, and thus plus 1.6022 1019 coulomb. Charge is possessed not just by matter, but also by antimatter, each antiparticle bearing an equal and opposite charge to its corresponding particle. 45. Charge can be measured by a number of means, an early instrument being the gold leaf electroscope, which, although still in use for classroom demonstrations, has been superseded by the electrometer. 38. 25. Electric current. The movement of electric charge is known as an electric current, the intensity of which is usually measured in amperes. Current can consist of any moving charged particles, most commonly these are electrons. Any charge in motion constitutes a current. Electric current can flow through some things, electrical conductors, but will not flow through an electrical insulator. 46. By historical convention, a positive current is defined as having the same direction of flow as any positive charge it contains, or to flow from the most positive part of a circuit to the most negative part. Current defined in this manner is called conventional current. The motion of negatively charged electrons around an electric circuit, one of the most familiar forms of current, is thus deemed positive in the opposite direction total of the electrons. 47. However, depending on the conditions, an electric current can consist of a flow of charged particles in either direction, or even in both directions at once. The positive to negative convention is widely used to simplify this situation. The process by which electric current passes through a material is termed electrical conduction, and its nature varies with that of the charged particles and the material through which they are traveling. Examples of electric currents include metallic conduction, where electrons flow through a conductor such as metal, and electrolysis, where ions, charged atoms, flow through liquids, or through plasmas such as electrical sparks. While the particles themselves can move quite slowly, sometimes with an average drift velocity only fractions of a millimeter per second. 38. 17. The electric field that drives them itself propagates at close to the speed of light, enabling electrical signals to pass rapidly along wires. 48. Current causes several observable effects, which historically were the means of recognizing its presence. That water could be decomposed by the current from a voltaic pile was discovered by Nicholson and Carlisle in 1800, a process now known as electrolysis. Their work was greatly expanded upon by Michael. Two metal wires form an inverted V-shape. A blindingly bright orange-white electric arc flows between their tips. An electric arc provides an energetic demonstration of electric current. Faraday in 1833. Current through a resistance causes localized heating, an effect James Prescott Joule studied mathematically in 1840. 38. 23-24. One of the most important discoveries relating to current was made accidentally by Hans Christian Ørsted in 1820 when, while preparing a lecture, he witnessed the current in a wire disturbing the needle of a magnetic compass. 49. He had discovered electromagnetism, a fundamental interaction between electricity and magnetics. The level of electromagnetic emissions generated by electric arcing is high enough to produce electromagnetic interference, which can be detrimental to the workings of adjacent equipment. 50. In engineering or household applications, current is often described as being either direct current, DC